Well, here we are back at the high school power hour live here on 104.5 The Zone. We actually have a fun special guest here as we get some of these finals trickling in. I'm actually going to have some of these listed out here, but we're going to step off the football field for a little while and talk to one of our top athletes overall. This is a dual sporter athlete. We got Daisy Oatsfall of Brentwood High joining us here. Daisy, I understand there's a football game going on that you're probably still checking out, but happy to have you on board.
Oh, yes. How are y'all?
Very, very good. Welcome to the show. Thanks for taking some time. What's the score right now, Brentwood Academy?
I'm at the Lipscomb-Ravenwood game,
Oh,
but it's 14-14.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Well, we'll take that, too. Look at that. We got a reporter in the field on top of being a track and field star and volleyball standout. Hey, we got to chat a little bit. You guys have had a busy week here. You had your Class AAA championship rematch. Daisy Oatsfall, a senior at Brentwood. Brentwood sweeps Nolensville in a big District 10 AAA matchup. Daisy, talk about the start of this season and just how great it's been so far.
Honestly, it's been, pretty good. We've been, very consistent with, our offense and our defense, just, staying consistent with plays and our lineups, which I love. And just, our team dynamic is just, so much more better than, the past years, which is really helping us, on the court and off the court.
When you think of, Coach Hester and I were actually just chatting about how, you have a Queen House, you got another setter coming in there. This lineup's bolstered, and you had so much coming back. Tell us about the depth of this team and how you guys are finding that camaraderie a little more, but at the same time, we got a lot of weapons across the board here.
Yes, I mean, having 6 commits on our team and having 5 of them going D1 just really, motivates all of us to be better, to, improve ourselves right now. So when we do go to college, we, are the best we can be. And having Queen House and, Lindsay Large join us really, helps because, I don't know, having another setter just always helps because you never know, Lauren getting hurt, you never know what's going to happen. And having, a very, scrappy defensive player at, Queen House, and she's very competitive, and she just does her thing. And it really has been helping us. So we're, very thankful to have them both here.
To open up the district play the way you guys have and to win that championship rematch against Nolensville, and then you take the Battle of the Woods yesterday against Ravenwood. This start, tell us about how you guys got some confidence going and how you keep it moving.
I would say starting early this summer, practicing with each other, going to camp, going to the bandy camp, just doing small things like that, to prepare ourselves for a district has really helped us. So I guess it's starting early.
One of the things that kind of stands out to me when I think of you mentioned having 6 commits here that are going to be playing at that next level. You, for example, I think it's North Florida, right?
Yes, it is.
To have that commitment kind of out of the way, just be able to go out and play your senior year. Can you kind of speak about just what that does and how you kind of take some of that pressure off? You don't have to worry about what's next or anything. You're just going out to play now.
I would definitely say it's less stressful because the recruiting process, as most people know, is probably one of the most stressful times of an athlete's career. So just knowing that I have somewhere that I'm going to go for the next 4 years, and I'm going to a school that I absolutely love, and I love the coaches and the environment, just really puts the stress off of me. And it just motivates me every day at practice to get better. So once I get there, I could get playing time as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Again, we're chatting with Daisy Oatsfall, a Brentwood High School senior here, state champion in track and field, a contender here leading the Brentwood volleyball team. Really excited to follow these girls and see how things go. Obviously, you guys had a great tournament and a great start over there at Knoxville. I think you guys saw Cleveland and Blackman to start. When you see so many tough teams right out of the gate and get tested right away, I think there was in Knoxville, you guys played St. Henry and Mercy, 2 great Kentucky teams. What's that tough schedule kind of do as you get into district play?
I mean, playing all these good teams across I don't know, all the states bordering us, I feel it really helps us because going into districts and regions and going into sub-states, so it's we're going to be playing teams out of our district. I feel it's going to really help us and push us to I don't know, play harder and play like to our best ability.
Well, I know you are at a fun game right now. Do you have any insight in who's going to come down? I think we're in the final 2 minutes there. It's tied up. Who's going to come out, Ravenwood or Lipscomb Academy there?
I don't really know. I think I might go to overtime, so we might have to see. But they're both doing really good, so it's like 50-50.
Last thing, kind of thinking about what's coming up for you. When should we come in and watch these Brentwood girls play again? And this volleyball team, I know you guys got Indy and Summit, but just talk about the excitement level around this team and why we got to come watch a Bruins volleyball game sometime.
I feel like really any game, like every single game, we like play our best lineup first. We always want to like put the best lineup as we can, and no matter what team we play, I feel like it's always going to be a good game. So, honestly, I feel like any game would be an amazing game to come watch.
Daisy, you're selling it well. I think we'll be there. We'll find a way to get there. Again, the Brentwood girls playing Independence, then Summit. Big district matchups up there. Contenders in Class AAA again. Daisy, thanks so much for taking some time to come hang out with us and chat a little bit. We'll let you get back and watch the finish of this. And like you said, maybe some OT, huh?
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Daisy Oatsfall of Brentwood High School, a senior there, again, a state champion in track and field. She helped lead the Bruins all the way to the state championship match last year in volleyball, too. So happy to have Daisy come on. You know, Coach, that's one of those fun ones where you just kind of have, she's an athlete from an athletic family. Like, I just, you can't beat it.
No, you can't. And then to have her on scene of one of these high school games that we're talking about, that's pretty cool that all these athletes like to support each other and go watch great sporting events.
Well, and she said it. So at Lipscomb Academy right now, the Mustangs driving. They're facing 3rd and 10. I want to say they're at the Ravenwood 32, but it is tied up 14-14, 122 left in that game. Coach, that's one of those coming right down to the finish.
Yeah,
Man.
Crazy. A bunch of great games out there. Looking at CPA Pearl tied at 28 right now. Wild.
When you think about, I guess, really just the where we are coming down on some of these here, are there any of those scores that kind of jump out to you a little bit, those finishes beyond maybe like what I think we mentioned a Mount Juliet game over there too, Coach? What kind of jumps out to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Beach bouncing back after the game last week with Green Hill, right, to kind of shut out Mount Juliet tonight. Then obviously BGA already going final against Columbia Academy, kind of flexing their muscle. But, you know, so interesting to see how some of these games are sorting out, right? Some of the games that we may have not have thought would have gone a certain way are kind of trending in different ways. You know, super excited to see that Beach bounce back.
So Beach comes in, a win over Mount Juliet, 29-0. That's one of the finals we do have from tonight. Another big final there. Division II AA Middle Region opener here. Battleground Academy, the defending state runners-up, roll past Columbia Academy, 69-0. You know, we knew this team was going to be one of those coming in here that, well, they could put up some points. When you return a quarterback in a system like that with so many great wide receivers, great team across either side of the ball, we know they could put up some points.
100%. They're well coached. I mean, obviously Bobby Bentley's coached at every level of football just about, and, you know, excited to see what they do this year. You know, they're kind of the ones, right? Them and FRA there in Division II. All eyes are kind of on them now that CPA has moved up, and Columbia Academy moving up this time into basically you know, a next up classification. They're getting their taste of it tonight. So
that's later on in this show, of course, probably in our next segment here. Be sure to stick around because we will have Coach Bobby Bentley come on, chat a little BGA Wildcats start here. They opened with a 48-13 win over Jackson Prep of Mississippi last week. Caden Maribel threw for 4 touchdowns, ran in 2 more. They averaged almost 19 yards of offense per offensive play. And then sure enough, they open up with Columbia Academy here and roll to a 69-0 win. Big time start here for the BGA boys. One of those other ones we're watching here, Antioch and East Nashville keep trading blows here. So in the fourth quarter, Antioch up 32-27, Coach. That's another one of those games that you love the rivalry of that one.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Those guys, those coaches know each other. Obviously they spend a lot of time coaching against each other at different schools. And now that they're all basically battling it out tonight, it's awesome to see.
Andre Adams, the QB there at Antioch, him and Brandon Galladay. Now, that's a great connection. Those two guys, I think, have connected 2 or 3 times tonight in the end zone. But Adams, just one of those guys, when you have a veteran quarterback, a veteran scorer like that coming in to lead the way, that just does so much for your team, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about that leader, right? Football is such a quarterback-driven game these days. You can win with great defense, but you're not going to win big unless you got that trigger man that can get you to where you need to go.
And, of course, one of those, you get a couple of those over at Ravenwood High now. And we're inside the final minute here. It's still tied up 14-14, trying to check out that stream, see where things are. We're coming out of a little timeout there, but that's one of those games we're looking at. We'll see some more finals coming up here, too. I think let's go ahead and look at one of these as I refresh, actually, to double-check. I wanted to see that Nashville Christian Ensworth score there. I believe it's 34-26 late in the fourth now. That's Ensworth leading. Coach, that's another one of those. Tyler Hasselback able to complete a 19-yard touchdown pass to Bishop Starling, give them that big lead there. And now it's up to NCS, and, well, guess who? Just try to see if they could get an answer there late.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so you got Jared Curtis. He's trying to prove to everybody that, classification doesn't matter. I'm the greatest player this year in Tennessee across all. I think he was the Gatorade Player of the Year last year as a junior, right, which is basically goes to the best player. So he's just trying to prove it. I think it's great to see him doing that.
Excited to see that again. Final seconds of that one. We'll keep you posted and see how things come down there. When I trying to go back here and find that Brentwood update here too, because that's another one of those neighborhood battles we're trying to see here. Brentwood and Brentwood Academy playing. Going to my friend, good old Charlie Bateman of the Williamson Herald, checking in there after trailing 20-0. Oh, actually, he's all the way at Summit, Nolensville. Look at him. I'm all over the place here, Coach. But
I got you an update on that one.
Yeah.
Big George Robinson's out there tonight. So
there we go.
Brentwood Academy 38, Brentwood High 14. At the end of the third quarter or so.
Charlie's hanging out at Nolensville Summit, and that's one where Nolensville started out with a big lead. It's 21-20 now, and Summit right there battled back. How about that? Impressive run there by Brian Coleman and the boys there. Coach, thinking of that Brentwood Academy one and just how it started, it kind of seemed like, this Brentwood team coming in here, obviously J.C. White not there at QB. You got a young transfer from Lausanne coming in there, and Gavin, and he wasn't 100% through the fall camp and everything. He had a lot of Parker Emerson. It just seemed like Coach Finch might not have had the best offense there, and here these guys gutting out and battling.
Yeah, Coach Finch has done a great job of piecing offense together from time to time when they've not been as experienced at quarterback, and obviously doing it again right now. But Brentwood Academy kind of flexing their muscle here in the third quarter, as it was probably to be expected a little bit.
Yeah. When you have we talked about QBs there, and you mentioned a little bit about it. Cruz Jenkins, the new guy coming in here for Brentwood Academy, and Coach Paul Wade. When you got a target like a Kashawn Bowman out there, Bowman's just one of those guys. But Jenkins that's a big thing to fill. So when you have a new quarterback as a coach, tell us a little bit about some of the things you did to try to cultivate a space for success, because it's always a tough spot when you're the guy taking the snaps there, and especially in a great program like Brentwood Academy.
Yeah, but you try to make sure that you script for success, right? You give them some plays early in the game, some screen throws, some shorter throws. Obviously, there are people scared of the speed of the guys at Brentwood Academy, so they're going to play off. So you can usually get some hitch throws or slants or things like that to kind of get them in the groove of the game. And, make them understand that all we got to do is distribute the football and get it to those people who need it, instead of trying to win the game ourselves and let our teammates kind of help us out. So, obviously they've done a good job of that tonight, putting up 38 points, still in the third quarter.
Oof, how about that? Hey, scoring update. Nashville Christian does tie it here. 2 seconds left, 34 all. How about that?
Golly, man.
My goodness.
Amazing. What a football game. It's what we wanted, though, right? We talk about it all the time, scheduling these games, right? Scheduling tough opponents, doing all that kind of stuff, not worrying about what your record is. And it's what the fans want.
Yes.
I mean, I guarantee you there are people glued to refreshing their Twitter. I'm angry with my Twitter algorithm right now, too. I'm getting random stuff. I want these scores.
Oh, I love it. One of those further ones there, a great rivalry matchup here. You want to give a scoring update here. In the fourth quarter, just getting underway, Tullahoma all over Coffee County, 50-23. That's a big one there. Another big update here, Franklin Road Academy and Cookeville. That's a fun matchup there. FRA leading 21-14. That's in the third quarter. Also have a score update, Centennial and Fairview. And the old Cougars finding a way, they're putting up some points, 48-22 about midway through the fourth there. You did have that final two, Coach. I think it was Pope John Paul II and who was it, East Robertson on that one? East Robertson, 24-0 winners there over Batten's boys.
Wow, East Robertson's kind of a juggernaut. They just keep it rolling.
About that.
I guarantee you there was a Groves involved in that game.
Yeah. How about that? Just one of those things. It's just, oh, man. That's one of those matchups I was really happy to see and just excited to look into that one here. Going to look for one more of those updates here on NCS. Again, they were able to tie the game late there. That's just one of those fun ones. You can't beat that.
I don't know if we had it already, but Connor Cornett's reporting that Antioch East Nashville's gone final. Antioch 32, East Nashville 27.
How about that? Hey, I think Ross, of course, one of our great producer in the house here, he's got an update for us too.
Yeah, Ravenwood hit a big play to midfield and got a timeout with 14 seconds left and then just threw a ball down to about the 38, I believe. I'm not sure if they have any timeouts left, but there's 7 seconds left, so they might be in shot for a potential field goal to win.
I just pulled that.
Let's see if Carlos Guerra's got the leg. Carlos Austin P. commit. Mm-hmm. Would be swinging out of the long one. Sounds like that would be a 55-yarder. That would tie the school record at Ravenwood High School.
And it looks like it, like Ross said, I think there are 3 seconds left. Got the ball down right at midfield there. I don't think I've ever seen somebody move so fast. Ricky Rodriguez burst into the scene there. That guy was sprinting. Oh, what a fun finish. 2 great finishes here in some big-time matchups. Excited to see as these go. Again, the tie, it was Jared Curtis to Colt McClary, and they're headed to OT in West Nashville. How about that? Wow. That was one of those, if you had to pick games to go to, that was one that was circled for sure. For as soon as when the schedule was released, this was one you wanted to see. Jared Curtis going against Ensworth. Big-time game there. 34 all, headed to overtime. Curtis finds McClary to tie the game with 2 seconds left. Big-time players make big-time plays, right?
In big-time games.
Heck yeah. Oh, man. Fun stuff. Again, kind of looking around, seeing some other scores around there. It's Page and Green Hill, latest in that one. Isaac Odie, a 31-yard touchdown run. About 7 minutes remaining in that one. Page leading 41-21. So they're putting up points, the old Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, last year it was defense. This year it's offense. Page can find a way to do it.
Old Coach Rathbone's probably having a pretty good time. Let's see here.
Looks like Ravenwood's going for this kick.
Oh, so really, you go back to how the start happened for Ravenwood last week, Coach. Carlos with 2 big field goals to end that half on the road in a great facility, great school, great program at Madison Ridgeland. They score the first 17 points. You get 2 30-yard field goals, though, to go into the half 17-6, and here's the young man lining up for a big one.
Got to be careful. These long ones, they come out low.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing how it goes, and it looks like it did come out low. Lipscomb Academy trying to return it, and there's going to be no time on the clock. Swinging it back. How about a little play-by-play as we go here? Looking for that tackle. There's a missed one. They're all the way back to midfield before getting wrapped up. Man.
Going to OT.
How about that? 2 of our biggest games in the mid-state. We're getting a little extra football action here. we're going to get a couple more finals lined out here, and we're actually going to be joined by Coach Bobby Bentley here in a little bit too. But how about we go ahead and step aside? We're going to take another break here. This is the High School Power Hour. 2 big overtime games coming up. Ravenwood at Lipscomb Academy, they're tied up 14-all. Nashville Christian and Ensworth, they're tied up 34-34. We're going to see those finishes, but we're going to talk a little more and find some more finals, and we'll have BGA coach Bobby Bentley joining us here. You're listening to the High School Power Hour, brought to you by Matthews Team Sports. We'll be back after this short break. We're back here at the High School Power Hour. I'm Charles Pulliam, the sports editor at the Williamson Herald. We got Coach Will Hester joining us here. And y'all, always a coach, even though you're the assistant principal at a middle school now too, man.
I still answer to it.
Yeah. Oh, once a coach, always a coach, man. Hey, you just had a nice final there, Station Camp in Rockville. What'd you see on that one?
Yeah, Station Camp makes a push there at the end of the game to come back and win 32-31. So big comeback for Station Camp.
How about that one? So again, Rockville had the lead there. And Rockville goes to 0-2 on that after battling against Independence last week. So Indy, of course, they actually scored the first 17, ended up being tied up 23-23, and then Matthew Horner with a couple touchdown passes able to win that one 37-23 last week. Couple other finals out there. Good Pasture over Maplewood 30-0. Northeast beat West Creek 24-0. We had the East Robertson JP2 game. That's 24-0 East Robertson. And then Portland shutting out Liberty Creek 31-0. And that was another one of those where it's like, oh, Portland, how about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Innsworth scored in 2 plays in the first overtime, so National Christian with the ball has to answer here. So 41-34 Innsworth right now.
You know, one of those other scores, quick update out there too, the Springfield boys, I believe, playing Clarksville tonight, and I wanted to give that shout out to all my great followers up there, all my great friends in the Springfield area. I know we had a lot of listeners over at BS Brewworks, and Springfield goes to 2-0. The boys, the Yellow Jackets, and Coach Dustin Wilson beat Clarksville 19-7 tonight.
Wilson brothers always put a good product on the field for sure.
Oh, that's a fun team out there, and there's some studs out there. Jaden Hurst getting all the looks with good reason. That is one athletic dude out there. So the Yellow Jackets of Springfield victorious here in week 2. That's a big one there. Quick update here over on the Antioch East Nashville side here. Guess what? Antioch, Coach Broom, they go to 2-0, 32-27 winners over East Nashville. That's a good one.
Yeah, huge win for Arcente and his bunch to move to 2-0. You can't win them all if you don't win the first 2, right, Charles?
You know, when I look at this setup here and seeing some of those scores we've been following for a while, and that's just one of those. Coach Broom, we had him on the show last week. He's just one of those guys that is what he's been able to do with that program the last 2 years. When you think about Antioch football, they went 6-5 last year, obviously falling to Franklin in the first round of the playoffs. But before the previous 5, 6, 7 years, I think they combined for about 6 or 7 wins. So Coach Broom coming in here, doing what he's done over the years at so many of those great programs. And, hey, Antioch's 2-0.
Yeah, unbelievable, and so happy for him. Arcente is one of those Nashville guys, right, from his days as a player at Stratford and then playing at Tennessee State and now at Antioch, coaching in Antioch and having coached at several schools across Metro, whether it be Overton or Maplewood or McGavick. Now he's at Antioch. I think Arcente's trying to hit them all.
Wonder what's next here. And maybe he's just following. It's like, okay, I got Andre Adams coming in there. He's like a 7th-year senior. No, I'm kidding. But great win there, 32-27 final, the Bears over East Nashville. And that's just one of those fun in-city setups here. So excited to see that one. Looking for an update over on the Ensworth side here. I think Ensworth and NC, it's the first score, actually. Ensworth able to score in 2 plays in that first overtime series. PAT's good, 41-34. Curtis and company trying to answer now. It looks like they might be going for 2. Coach?
I love a little go for 2. There's nothing better than kind of having the dagger.
One more, too, our other overtime game there, Lipscomb Academy and Ravenwood. Ravenwood able to answer a Lipscomb score here, 21-20 the score now. I think they're going for 2, right, Coach?
I have no idea. We'll find out, though.
It looks like it. And if I'm not mistaken, Femi Babaloa finds his man. That's a 2-point conversion,
and
Coach.
That would be ball game.
Yeah. You know, Coach, we should probably dip back into maybe some story time here real quick since we got a minute or 2 here. I remember a 2015 game going for 2 that was a little sour of a finish, but I will always remember Coach Hester speaking to his team about how we went out on our accord. And
that was actually 2014. 2015
we came back.
We won. Yeah. So, 2014. Yeah, we went for 2, had a chance to beat Maryville. Maryville, obviously, we beat them the next year, but they had won a bunch of games in a row and went for 2 and didn't get it. And, you always like to be able to end the game on your terms, right? And last year we had an overtime game at Oakland. Yep. We won, and it sounds like the Raptors kind of went back to the well, and Femi threw the pass last time. Sounds like he threw it again. So.
22-21 the final. The Raptors of Ravenwood beating Lipscomb Academy to go to 2-0. And, hey, those are 2 big games for them. Think about, obviously, so many great players, so many returners there. They had to battle. And,
but, they're breaking in, 5 brand-new offensive linemen. And for those guys to go to Mississippi and now go to Lipscomb and get 2 wins, they'll be super excited to get back home senior night next week against Green Hill. They'll be excited to be at the friendly confines, if you will. But, there's no better way than to grow up than to be tested and battle adversity. And I would say coming back from being down 17-0 and then finding a way to win in overtime, that's pretty adverse.
We do have Coach Bobby Bentley on the line with us here, too. So this is the High School Power Hour. You're listening to us on 104.5 The Zone. Coach Bobby Bentley of Battleground Academy, the BGA boys, racing out to a 69-0 win over Columbia Academy. Coach Bentley, welcome to the show, man.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Oh, very good. Hey, this is an offense that we saw led by Caden Marable, put up so many points last year. He threw for, 3,400-plus yards. And then you win 48-13 last week, and we put up 69 in the Middle Region opener here. Coach, man, this is something.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the guys. You work hard in the offseason. You got a lot of guys coming back. They didn't sit on their laurels. They got out and worked and worked on precision timing and, spacing in the passing game. And, we can run the ball now. Our defense is better. You had a lot of guys coming back off that state championship run. We got beat in the state championship. Guys were a little bitter, and they kind of working with a chip on their shoulder right now.
When you think about the start here, I mean, this is a team. We had Caden Marable actually on the Wilco Sports Power Hour on Monday, and we talked a little bit about just the explosive plays that this offense is able to do. And at the same time, he's an incredibly efficient leader at that, too. Can you speak a little bit about just how he finds a way to help lead this offense? And you guys, we don't need very many plays. I mean, last week, you guys, sure enough, I think only had 30 offensive plays, but you put up 48 points. There's just a level of efficiency here that is really, really impressive.
Yeah, he's very intelligent, but not only is he intelligent, he's got a very intelligent offensive line and intelligent receivers and a running back that understands pass protection. So as Coach can attest, when you have a quarterback that can get you out of bad plays and get you into better plays, it's just so much more efficient. And he's 15 for 17 tonight and had a drop touchdown. So, you think about it from his standpoint, he had 16 for 17 on the money. He was great in the run game. They blitzed us a little early, caught us off guard a couple times, and he responded well. Kept the guys' composure. The defense responded as well. I mean, it was an all-around great team game, and just proud of the way the guys are working right now. And, they're going out to practice every day to get better and striving for that perfect practice.
Yeah, Coach Hester here. Congrats on the big win. But talk about, year 2 in your era at BGA. Talk to the people about how much easier it is now that the culture is set and all those kinds of things. The players know what to expect out of you on a weekly basis to get prepared in 4 days for all these games.
Great point, Coach. And when you come in, it's hard, man. It's hard, especially when, maybe the work ethic wasn't there and the work of the culture wasn't there. And now all of a sudden, you ask them to come in on Sundays and you practicing for, 2 hours after you meet and rock and, walk through. So, it's just totally different culture. And they bought into it, and they realized that, the more I put in it, the more I can get out of it. And the guys had some success last year, and I think success breeds success, as you know. And you have a lot of guys come back off of a team that had some success, and these guys are hungry. And when your best players are leading, Coach, as you know, and your best players are leading your guys at practice, you got a good chemistry.
100%. When your best players are your best leaders, you're going to have a great season. And when it's a player-led team over the coach having to be the mouthpiece of the expectations, I would imagine that's what you would say, though. You set the expectations last year, and now those leaders on that team are the ones carrying the torch for that.
No doubt. And they're doing it in the weight room. They're doing it, in our meetings and obviously in our practices as well. And just having that focus for game week when you're preparing for your teams that you're playing, and then, putting it behind you and going to the next one.
You mentioned about some of these leaders here. We mentioned Caden, obviously, too. There's a Nate Fleming out there, Elijah Fernandez, so many of these great guys here. So there's some youthful guys there. If Coach, I'm not mistaken, too, did I see Fernandez run back a kick to open the second half here? I mean, there's so many big plays here, but talk a little bit about those guys that are the leaders here.
Well, it starts with those guys that you mentioned. Nate Fleming, again, plays both ways for us, defensive lineman, offensive line. Elijah Fernandez is our leader on defense. He gets us lined up. He makes all of our calls. He's the headhunter of the deal, leading tackler. Really proud of Christian Thompson, our corner. Just really doing a good job right now, leading our secondary. As we mentioned, Caden already. And then some of the young guys. This Maddox Porter, this freshman, just has really caught on fire. Max Curry. It's just really, really impressive to see how the guys are working together right now. And proud of our kicking game. Obviously, you got young guys stepping up on that as well. And Ethan Kellum has done a good job in the backfield in pass protection and running the ball when we call on him to run. Obviously, we're a pass team first, and he understands that, and he gets that philosophy.
Coach, we got a couple minutes here, too, and thinking really quick, opening with a trip west here and winning over Jackson Prep. You get a tough Pearl Cone team coming in here, and then another out-of-state game here, but both home games here. This is the start of a 3-game homestand for you guys. Getting some of this, seeing some of these teams that you're not accustomed to. I know in the preseason we chatted a little bit about it, but can you speak about just stepping out of that usual realm, too, and what that does for your guys and how you kind of build off of that?
Well, anytime you can have 3 home games, that's exciting. But we talked about it tonight in the team meeting, that we get a good team coming in here, a team that's very, very, explosive, very, very athletic, somebody that's going to really challenge us. And I think our guys will be up for it. I think they're excited for it. They want to have good practices and have good preparation for a fantastic team that Coach Brunetti and Pearl Cone bring down here.
Excited to that matchup. Another great one there. We mentioned a Pearl Cone team opening with NBA. They played CPA tonight, now BGA. That's their kind of schedule you'd like, huh, Coach Hester?
Yeah, absolutely. Tony knows what it takes to be playing in December and measuring yourself early on for sure.
Coach Bentley, real quick, moving on here. How do we kind of keep this momentum rolling and keep BGA flying high here?
Charles, it's a science to it. Obviously, when you have a good football team, you got to get them practicing hard. Okay, so we got to get to practice. We got to practice hard, and we got a collision. We got to get our inside runs and collision and tackle. Become a better collision expert, so that we don't miss tackles and yet still keep them healthy. Because you got to get the horses to the game on Friday. So you can't go out there and walk around and mope around. You got to get your meetings done, get your walkthroughs done, and then go out and play hard at practice and count on a perfect practice so that you'll be ready to go on Friday night. But there's an art to it as coaches to keep your guys healthy when you have a good team and you have guys that understand what you're trying to do.
Coach Bobby Bentley of BGA, man, really appreciate you taking a little bit of time here. Congratulations, a big 2-0 start here. Really looking forward to following these Wildcats and you, man.
Thank you, and thanks for all you do for high school sports.
Oh, appreciate it. Coach Bobby Bentley of BGA. Let's go ahead and step aside for a quick break again. This is the High School Power Hour, live on 104.5 The Zone. We'll be back after this break. We are back. The High School Power Hour into our second hour here. Time to surge up. Excited about this. Charles Pulliam here with you. Coach Will Hester as well. We have a weekly visit coming in here. Mr. Tate Matthews joining us of Matthews Team Sports. Of course, our premier sponsor here of the High School Power Hour. Mr. Matthews, Tate, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Charles. Great to hear my old buddy, Coach Will Hester, on the air with you, man. I know he's in studio with you. You two sound great. Pair made in heaven right here, brother.
Well, how about that? You know, I was teasing Coach about maybe going back and thinking about 10 years ago, and I was off by a year in one of our going for two stories here. But yeah, I think I've been following Coach Hester for a while now.
Well, I don't know if you know it. Coach Hester's what was called one of the greatest waste of a 33 on the ACT in the history of Brentwood High School, because he got into high school football coaching. But I think I disagree, because Coach Hester got into high school coaching, and he's a great math teacher. Helped all my kids with their math homework through the years because their father couldn't help them. And I think it helped him when he was calling offensive plays, because he knows numbers, right? But and he's also a part-time radio guy. So, man, you couldn't have picked a better co-host for the night.
Oh, I agree. Hey,
and he always remembers his years.
Tate, there's been, a couple games we obviously circled coming into week 2. Ravenwood at Lipscomb Academy, Ensworth and Nashville Christian kind of going at it too. These were two just powerhouse matchups here. They both go to overtime. Ravenwood comes out victorious. Ensworth comes out victorious. Man, what a week 2 battle there, huh?
No, without a doubt. But I think Coach Hester would agree. I think you would too. Ravenwood now, like Coach Hester said, you can't be 10-0 if you don't start 2-0. So great job by the Raptors. Nice win, 22-21. But I think Lipscomb Academy is better than what people might have thought. Numbers down a little bit on the roster, but put up some, big points against McCallie, who is the defending state champ. I know everybody's got Baylor picked them to win, but until somebody knocks the Blue Tornado off, I still call them King of the Hill. But Lipscomb Academy, I think, is better than what a lot of people thought, man. They're going to be a tough out for a lot of teams.
Yeah, not many people have an answer for Cam Blevins. Obviously, he's making plays, 208 yards week 1 against McCallie, and another couple of big catches tonight to keep them in the football game against the Raptors. And then Jared Curtis and the little old Nashville Christian single A team plays Big Mighty Ensworth tonight and goes to 42-41. That's got to be an epic all-timer right there.
Well, what a story, right? And it was at home on Coach Hester. Donnie Keaton. It's Keaton Field, but it's named after Donnie Keaton. Tony was his Coach Keaton. Donnie Keaton was the head coach for a long time, and then his son took over Tony Keaton. They kind of are Nashville Christian, right? But on their home field, 42-41, I got to be honest, I didn't think that Nashville Christian, being D2 single A, could handle the line, the fronts that Ensworth had, and they did, man. And to get it to overtime, Colt McClary, Ryan McClary's son, gets the 2-point conversion to go to overtime, and then Mr. Everything, Jared Curtis, gets the 2-point to get the win. What an unbelievable win. Program changing. Just this is one of those games, Coach Hester, from your times at Ravenwood, but 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, those guys, Colt McClary and Jared Curtis, people will tell them, hey man, did you play for Nashville Christian in 2025? Yeah, I was at that game. I saw you score that 2-point conversion. What a great story, man. Great job by Coach Brothers and the staff.
Absolutely. What about, kind of a shocking score that I think we are going to talk about here. Lincoln County over Independence, 23-21. Obviously, that's one. I think Lincoln County now goes to 2-0,
They won
right?
a tight one last week, too, yeah.
Yeah, that's big for – high school football was at its best when Lincoln County, the Falcons, were really good, and looks like they got it going in the right direction this year.
Yeah, I agree. When Lincoln County's good, That's good for everybody. Kind of like the SEC, right? You don't want Alabama down. You don't want Florida down. You don't want Lincoln County down. And you know him. You've known him since he was a 22-year-old assistant. But Ed Cunningham, he used to be Eddie. He's Ed now. But what a great job he's doing as a head coach. And they're 2-0. And got to be honest, I didn't see that one coming. I didn't think they'd go into I didn't think they'd go to Declaration Way and get the win over Coach Blade and the Eagles. But what a great win by them. And he's doing a really good job of rebuilding that program. He's got a really good staff, got a nice running back in Caden Maxwell and Case and Carter. They got a 2-point or a 2-man duo going there at running back, right? And big win for them, man. 2-0 for the Falcons. I know they got to be happy down in Lincoln County.
Well, and the back-to-back tight games here, too. So they open with Marshall County and win 21-20, and then to go to Indy and win 23-21. Those are those, talk about momentum-building stuff when you find ways to win down the stretch, too. Like, those are just good ones. Oh, yeah.
Well, and remember, Marshall County's got the returning 4A Mr. Football returning from quarterback and Tyler Thompson. And so to hold them to 20 points was a big deal, but also just to get that win. He's doing a great job down there. And, hey, man, Coach Hester knows he's been down there from his time at Laverne, and he's got a very close relationship with Coach Lewis Thompson. Nobody takes their football more serious than they do down in Fayetteville.
That's 100% true. The pit for sure.
Got to be there at some point. Tate, when you think about some of these things, before we even let you go, I need an opportunity to kind of look around and see some stuff here. But when I think of mentioning some helpful things out there, I think of Performance Therapy Institute, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Oh, without a doubt, man. Been associated with them for a few years now, and Josh Colbert and his crew doing an unbelievable job. They've been in business since 2014, and the number one thing I can say about them is they got a heart for high school athletes and high school athletics, right? And unfortunately, Friday nights, Thursday nights now, we got to talk about Thursday nights as well. But, it's a part of the game. Injuries are going to happen. And what do you got to do? You got to get in there. You got to get them addressed, find out what the problem is, and start getting on the road to recovery. Sometimes they can take care of it. And what makes them special is their one-on-one time that they spend with their patients, and try to get you back on the field of play or the court of play as soon as they can. If they can't, they've got the best relationship with all of the specialists all across Middle Tennessee. And if they got to send you there, they do. And the best thing I can tell you about them is I've got 3 kids. I've sent all 3 to them. I wouldn't trust anybody else without my kids. So they've got office hours on Saturday in the Franklin office, but 4 locations: Franklin, Brentwood, Nashville, Nolensville. You can give them a call at 615-465-6810 or visit them at performnashville.com.
You mentioned a Nolensville setup there. Tate, this was one of those all Williamson County battles there, Summit and Nolensville duking it out there. The Knights finding a way to pick up a W there.
Yeah, big win for the Nolensville Knights. So happy for Coach Stidham. Coach Coleman does a great job down there at Summit, and they're still rebuilding their program. But here's what I loved about it. Coach Hester, what do you think about this? A lot of people think Coach Stidham can't pass the ball, right? Well, our boy Ryan Newell went 13 for 22, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oliver Bender, Coach Hester, you know him, 8 receptions, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'd say that's the forward passing game right there.
It definitely is the forward passing game for sure.
Oh, man. How about that? Yeah, some big numbers there. Again, that was pretty, I think the first couple TDs went in favor of Nolensville. So Coach Coleman and the Spartans able to find a little offense there, but the Knights find a way to move on. Looking around, too, there was another fun Williamson County battle there, Centennial and Fairview, Tate. That was a 48-22 final in favor of the Cougars, but this is a Fairview team that, is coming to battle, and I think Coach Hughes might have something there. But how about Jay Graham getting win number 1?
Yeah, happy for Coach Graham. Lost a heartbreaker last week to Stewart's Creek, right? I think it was 36-33, a 3-point game. just a shootout on offense by both teams. And but for him to get his first win, love what he's doing there, and respect to Coach Hughes, right? Coach Hester, scheduling that game. They're what, 3 classifications or 2 classifications bigger, and all it does is Fairview wanted to go in there and win the game, but they're going to be better for this one, right? When they get into the playoffs, they can say that they've seen some teams that have the speed that Centennial has. So great job by Coach Hughes. I know you don't want to lose one, but they're better for this, and really happy for Coach Graham and what he's doing over there in his first year with the Cougars. And it was his first home game. It was at home, and to get the win, I know he was really excited over there on Mallory Lane.
One more for you. I know we had Coach Broom on the show last week when you and I were hanging out here. Antioch goes to 2-0, beats East Nashville 32-27. These two teams were going head-to-head, trading blows. They actually ended the half, I think, with a little scuffle. You name it. These guys were going at it, but Coach Broom and the Bears go to 2-0.
Hey, we talked about that last week with him, right?
Yep.
They had the 7-on-7 Metro Nashville Public Schools 7-on-7 tournament earlier in the summer, and they were in the finals, and it got a little chippy there, and so we knew that was going to happen tonight. But Coach Hester and Coach Broom are really good friends, and Coach Hester can speak to it more than I can. But Coach Broom, man, great player at Stratford, and then he's taken over so many Metro programs, and now he's at Antioch and doing the same thing. But that's a win over a really good East Nashville team. And you look at Antioch's schedule. I don't know that I see any losses on the regular season. Maybe FRA, maybe, but they've got something really special going on at Antioch with Andre Adams and all the weapons that he's got. So that's a big win for them. Love what he's doing there. Coach Broom is, he's making Metro better. Making young men better. And developing young coaches to go out and go lead their own program. So I love what he's doing. That was a great win. I'm telling you, man, I think, Coach, you tell me what you think, but I don't think 9-1, 10-0. I don't think that's unreasonable at all for the Bears.
No, opportunity for them to host some playoff games, win that league possibly. But no, they're set up for success over there, especially like we talked about earlier, quarterback-driven football these days, and they've got them one over there at Antioch High School for sure.
Excited to see. Tate, any other scores kind of jump out to you a little bit before we move on and think a little more and find some of these more as we go into a break?
Yeah, man. I thought like you mentioned earlier, I thought the Lincoln County score over Independence was big. Obviously, Nashville Christian School, 42-41 over Ensworth. Mm-hmm. That's unbelievable. Again, that's something we're going to talk about a long time. But I'll tell you another one that stood out to me. Station Camp, 32-31 over Rockville. Coach Count's first year at Rockville, but everybody knows the success he's had as a head coach. Chris Bain is doing a great job with the Bison, rebuilding that program, and I just thought that was a huge win for the Bison tonight, 32-31 over the Rockville Rockets. Mm-hmm. And then what about our boy Chris Chauvin, Coach Hester? 2-0. He's replacing a legend and Coach Marty Uverard. NBA gets the win 40-0 over Hamilton. Hugh Price, it doesn't get much better than this. 8 for 10 passing, 4 touchdowns. Coach Show is 2-0. I know that makes you smile, Coach Hester.
Yeah, absolutely. And happy for Daniel Childs. Daniel going over there as the offensive coordinator and working with Hugh Price at quarterback and putting up some points, obviously.
Big ones out there. And again, that was over a tough Pearl team in week 1 for them too, winning 17-14. So just impressive start for those. Tate, I tell you what, lots of fun. Week 2, we're going to have a bunch more scores coming up, but it's happening. It's amongst us. This is fun stuff, man.
Hey, Charles, real quick, I know you're up against a break. I'm going to let you go, but you and I got the privilege of interviewing Warren DeGraff last week on the high school power hour. Due to the Titans being on Friday night, we aired on Saturday night, but we got to interview him. What a great interview that was. And then you wrote an unbelievable article about him. that you can find at the Williamson Herald. But Franklin Grace, 41, MTCS 0. Hey, 2 years ago, if you had said Franklin Grace was going to beat Middle Tennessee Christian School, most people would have taken that bet. They're 2-0, and Franklin Grace has got something special going on over there, especially offensively. So I want to encourage everybody to go read your article that you wrote at the Williamson Herald. It was a great piece. You always do, but I think that's one that you'll probably frame and put up. You did a great job with that, brother.
And what a big W for them too, like you said. So they start 2-0. There's just a different energy out there, and well, your super senior and Warren DeGraff leading the way. We'll be sure to chat a little more about him coming up. And hey, he's going to be a guest again. He's a football mind, and he's a heck of an interview.
Hey, now that Coach Hester is out of the game, Coach Simp might be the best play caller out there.
Ooh, hey,
he definitely is for sure.
Tate, we appreciate the time, man. Do enjoy tomorrow, and man, just excited for you.
Hey, Coach Hester, how the Tigers doing? How's War Eagle doing tonight?
Last I saw, 38-24, up 2 scores with 4 minutes to go. So we'll see how it goes.
Riggs Hester getting ready to go 1-0,
baby. Coach, we're gonna have to talk about that a little later here too, man. Excited for you.
Yeah, I mean, Donovan Starr, Riggs, it's exciting times on the Plains for sure.
Love it. Tate, and get some rest, man. We appreciate you taking some time to come on here and just chat a little bit. Excited about week 2. We'll have you next week again. Just happy to have you, man. High School Power Hour coming at us here.
Well, it's a pleasure to hear you two on together, and thanks for letting me be on with y'all. High School Sports Saturday, abbreviated version because of the Vols early kickoff. Vols Network will kick off earlier than normal, so we'll be 8 to 8:30 tomorrow. But you guys do a great job, and have a great rest of the show. Go Vols.
Charles, Dr. Pam Vaden listening to us on our way home from the Ravenwood Lipscomb game, checking us out.
Hi.
So.
Yeah. Well, Tate, thank you so much. Again, this is the High School Power Hour, or brought to you by Matthews Team Sports, and always appreciate our weekly visit with Mr. Matthews. Tate, the man. You know, a quick shout out there, too. Thinking of our former athletic director in Williamson County, a big friend of ours there, Darren Joins, and his new school, Franklin Christian Academy, they're opening with their first TSSAA win here tonight, 42-31 winners over PCA.
Oh, wow, that's a big one. PCA, LeBron Ferguson, that's a good program, so big win for those guys.
Well, real quick, Ross, are we where are we at here? Do we need to go to a break here and get regrouped with some finals, or are we okay to keep chatting?
It'd probably be smart to go to a break here.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. Well, again, this is the High School Power Hour. Let's step aside for a quick break here. We'll have some more finals, lots more action to chat about here, too. Back after this short break. Back here at the high school power hour. We're live here on 104.5 The Zone. Charles Pulliam here with you, Coach Will Hester as well. And he was such an outstanding interview. He's featured in the Williamson Herald this week. GCA, Grace Christian Academy of Franklin down there near Leapers Fork, goes out. They pick up a 41-0 win over Middle Tennessee Christian. And there's a story out there. Everybody's got to know this Warren DeGraff story. And hey, guess what? This super senior's back on the air with us. Warren, man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Charles?
Oh, very excited to hear a little bit about another win for you guys and another shutout win, man. Tell us about going 2-0 here at GCA.
Yeah, well, I mean, it means so much. And I mean, again, like I was talking last week, just the culture we have built has just brought us through it all. And another shutout win, like you said, our defense played amazing today, led by Jacob Gillis with 25-plus tackles and Noah Amliger. Like, it was just run so well. Zach Rancorn with 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. Like, it was an amazing game.
Coach Hester knows this, man. This is a guy. He speaks coach speak. That's the beauty of it.
Absolutely.
Well, Warren, thinking of this start, having that opportunity going 2-0 here, you know, this last week we chatted a little bit just about there's this energy level, this culture kind of shift going on there at GCA. Can you kind of introduce that a little bit and what it means for this team to find a little more success now?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we have been working at it since January in the weight room, on the field, just running plays, getting to know each other as brothers and as teammates. And, I mean, the chemistry that the whole team has is just absolutely amazing. And I feel like even though we might be a small team, it just brings us over the top, especially with all the energy we bring, the student section that comes out to away and home games, and just the fans that are just so loud help a ton. But, I mean, again, like I said, the culture we have built from January till now has just brought us through it all, and it's been amazing.
Again, chatting with Warren DeGraff, our super senior here. I was actually hanging out last night, was able to be with our TSSAA leaders out there and just chat a little bit about your situation, being able to come in here. This is such a special thing for you, man, and getting to be out there on that field here. Game 2, were the same butterflies there after not being able to take the field for about 18 months?
A little bit, but not as much. I'm just getting more and more comfortable. It's kind of like your freshman year, you know, your first varsity game, getting out there, you get a little butterflies, and as the years go on, like, they just start fading away. And so I'm getting more and more confident out there, which is amazing.
Now, just knowing some of the background, knowing some of the stories here, I was able to, we were just chatting with, Coach Semptonfelter a little bit and hearing some of these things. I need you to explain one of the stories from this last season. We got Coach Hester here too, and thinking of the idea of a young man coming into a college program and then maybe sharing some thoughts on a board there. I know you were up at John Carroll there, and you made an impact by, well, kind of maybe having some insight on a play here or there. You mind speaking and sharing that story a little bit for us?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It was like July-ish when we went up to John Carroll University, and I was not ready enough to, like, perform well enough for college coaches to even consider offering me or anything. So Coach Semptonfelter was amazing, and he got me to a meeting with Coach Behrman, who's an amazing coach, an amazing Christian man. And it went amazing. I mean, I was just speaking my heart out, and it was great. I mean, I love the game, and I'm sure he saw that, and so it's great up there, and I'm blessed to be offered from there.
Excited for you, man. I tell you, Coach, have you ever had a young man come in and be like, hey, so when I'm seeing this play up here, I think if maybe we do this, and just give you some insight, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you do have those guys. I mean, I can think back to several that we've had. Chris Parson was one of those guys, you know, the guys that the game slows down for, that can truly see it and speak into it. You know, those are the ones. It's awesome.
Well, Warren, I know we had a big road win here tonight. You actually have several big road games coming up here. Clarksville Academy, Zion up there too. How does this GCA team keep this momentum going and keep building on this new culture and finding ways to get W's?
Well, it all starts with practice and in the weight room and, of course, in the film room. I mean, we just got to keep in the books and keep watching them and making sure we know what they're doing. That was huge in our win today against MTCS, was just us knowing what they're going to do, us anticipating and knowing their tendencies which was huge. And so I feel like that'll just carry us into the next week, and energy, especially over practice in the weight room and everything, even in the school day.
I'm excited for you guys, man. Warren, this was such a fun one. I think you're one of our go-to guests. Let's put it that way, because you bring a lot of energy, man. We always love chatting. And for all those listeners out there that don't know Warren's true story, you could find it in the Williamson Herald. This young man is overcoming a battle with leukemia. He's back on the field after 2 seasons of not getting to play, and now he's out there with his brothers. Actual brothers, too. Grayson DeGraff, Kipton out there as well, too, and helping this GCA team out to a 2-0 start. Man, congratulations, bud.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Warren DeGraff, a GCA super senior there, man. Thanks for calling in and giving us a little update. Again, this is the High School Power Hour. We're live here on 104.5 The Zone. We're going to talk a little more finals here. Coach Hester, I tell you, it's been a lot of fun. We were able to chat Lincoln County Indy there. We got a little update there. That score, 23-21, the final, Lincoln County over Independence. There's some other finals out there. Lebanon over Siegel, 35-3. Riverdale beat Father Ryan, 35-0. NBA shuts out Hamilton of Memphis, 40-0. We had the FCA, is it the Falcons or the Eagles here? I got to remember now. But out there, the new TSSAA program beats PCA 42-31. And, hey, here's that big neighborhood battle we didn't get a chat about yet, too. Brentwood Academy beat Brentwood 45-21. What did you see from that game there, Coach Hester?
Yeah, I mean, kind of expected a lot of points, right? So both teams known for offense. And, Brentwood Academy kind of got the best of them tonight with 45 points. But, that game started out, Brentwood Academy kind of jumped on them. Brentwood High fought back there, scored twice there in the end of the first half. But, to me, the highlight of that game, the 58-yard field goal, that's unbelievable for a high school kid, for Tommy Baccaro there. And then, we got some more scores. I'm intrigued by Giles County over Henry County. That's up in classification victory there. That's a Giles County team that scored some points on Page. Then Page goes out and beats Green Hill tonight. I mean, it's that whole 3 degrees of separation. You can put all these teams and games together from the weeks and kind of see how some of these teams compare. Whites Creek with a big win over Trousdale tonight.
Another one of those. Yeah, you mentioned that. So Giles County 27-14 winners over Henry County. They came up short and actually put up a lot of points against Page last week. I think that was a 47-34 final. But the Bobcats picking up a big win over Henry County there, 27-14. You mentioned the Page boys. The Patriots beat Green Hill 44-21 tonight. This is last year we had so much on the defensive side of the ball. This year it kind of seems like this team has a lot of ceiling here for the offensive side. They're putting up some points.
Absolutely. I mean, Coach Rathbone finding ways to win, whether it's on the defensive side or offensive side, whatever it takes, right? Score one more point or hold them down. Then we got some teams that are bouncing back this week. Lawson bounced back after losing to Brentwood Academy last week to get the win over Creekwood, 19-13. John Overton bounced back after a loss last week to Father Ryan to beat Hillsborough tonight, 14-10. Marshall County, who kind of went down in what some of us would have thought was a stunner last week, right, and gets the victory over Shelbyville, 30-21.
That's a big one there. When you think of the restructuring of where Shelbyville falls into different region setups and everything there, too, to come up a little shy. That Marshall County team, thinking of Marshall County, thinking of Giles County, those are two teams right there where I just don't think you want to line up with them any given week now.
Yeah, and then you showing some love to single A football. Summertown, Coach Dan Winfrey spent some time at Wilco, 16-14 over Wayne County. Summertown hasn't had a football program for many years. To see those guys battling with Wayne County, who's a storied single-A football program, happy for those guys.
A couple other finals out here. Columbia Central beat Battle Creek 51-12. And we did mention that. Lawson won, 19-13 wins over Creekwood. A one score here, Gallatin over Franklin. That was a 23-20 final. And, of course,
I think that was a come-from-behind win for Gallatin.
And, coaches know each other pretty well there.
Coach Atkins spent some time at Gallatin before going to Franklin.
So the Franklin boys coming off a 20-0 win last week. And here, this is one of those teams where you're kind of curious to see how things go. That was a good friendly matchup there, and the Gallatin boys coming back to beat Franklin 23-20. Another final here. Let's see if I make sure I got this. I have a Northeast over West Creek 24-0. Good Pasture over Maplewood 30-0. Coach, when you kind of look in and see how, let's dive into one of these spots here. When you think of our big region here out within Williamson County, Region 6A, and just that idea of seeing how things are starting here. With Independence falling at Lincoln County here, Brentwood falling to Brentwood Academy, and Ravenwood going to 2-0 with some tough wins here. Where do you kind of see that region in terms of what these opening weeks might determine here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think through it. So, at 2-0, Ravenwood may be the only undefeated team left in that league now, just 2 games into the season. So probably a lot of parity would be the first thing I would say. Who's going to shake out playoff-wise in that region is going to be super interesting, when we get into region play here in a couple of weeks and those guys start picking each other off. But, kind of odd to say we're 2 weeks into the season and just about all that Wilco League already has a loss beside their name.
That's one that jumps out there. One of the other scores we didn't get just yet, but I'm pulling up as we speak here, trying to find it. But that Pearl Cone CPA matchup here, that was one of those where both these teams coming in after tough losses and really loaded scheduling here.
Yeah, went final. I think CPA ended up winning 42-35. So.
Yeah, so Pearl goes to 0-2 on the start there. CPA moves to 1-1.
And then travels to BGA next week.
Yes. So when you're Pearl Cone, when you're Coach Tony there, and you're thinking about how you're front load and you constantly find ways to battle. I know they've been playing CPA in week 2, 3, year in and year out here.
In NBA, usually that opener.
Same kind of thing. And then, hey, they're going to a really, really tough BGA team. And how do you get the guys kind of rallied back to be like, hey, these are stepping stones. We're building, we're learning, and we're playing against some of the best teams in the state here.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I think it's easier when you're playing those kinds of games. You know what I mean? I think it's easier to get up for a great opponent than it is to go into a game where you're expected to score a bunch of points and, the talk in the locker room is, hey, we're going to get a bunch of guys in this week and play a bunch of people. I think it's a lot easier to get up for a tough game.
I love it. And that's and just building for it. And sure enough, right after this, they take a trip to Oakland. How about that? Let's just stack up another one there.
Tony and Engel must have both been hanging out together when they made those schedules. It's kind of crazy.
Why don't you go to Oakland week 1? We'll go week 4. We'll
trade some
out.
film. It'll be great.
Oh, and testing the kids. I love it. Again, Pearl down the line, too. They got games against Springfield and Bartlett and all these great games. I'm really excited to see how you build off of these. And so many of these teams we've seen get that first few weeks of battle testing, and you just don't want to play them week 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond then.
And then, I always love these traditional rivalry games. You got the coffee pot game, Tullahoma, Coffee County, Tullahoma with the victory to go 2-0, 57-23. So the coffee pot going back with the Tullahoma boys tonight.
And when you think of that matchup, I mean, we're talking so many decades of matchups. I could actually pull that one up real quick. This meeting, I think, was the, 87th then?
That's wild.
How about that? Nothing to it. Just like the Springfield-Clarksville game, I think that was the 102nd meeting.
Wow.
My goodness. These guys know how to battle, and they've been doing it for a long time. That goes beyond our days.
Coffee pot.
Yeah. Speaking of coffee pot, here we got another big segment coming up here, but I think we should go ahead and step aside for our break here. This is the High School Power Hour. We got some more scores that will be coming in here. Really excited to keep this going here, and we'll have some more finals coming your way. You're listening to 104.5 The Zone here. This show brought to you by Matthews Team Sports. Let's step aside for a quick breather. How about I break it out? Well, we're back here at the High School Power Hour. Happy to have everyone joining in here. I'm Charles Pulliam with the Williamson Herald. Coach Will Hester here as well, too. Week 2 finals have been trickling in, and it's been a beauty to follow here, of course. Some great overtime matchups, some great games across the mid-state. Happy to have everyone on board. Be sure to check us out on social media at HS Power Hour on Twitter and Instagram, too. Follow us all around here. Really excited to have everybody on board, but got some scores I want to run down first. Let's go back to some of those early ones, too. Beach beats Mount Juliet 29-0. BGA over Columbia Academy 69-0. Portland beat Liberty Creek 31-0. East Robertson 24-0 winners over JP2. Northeast beat West Creek 24-0. Good Pasture over Maplewood 30-0. Station Camp beat Rockvale 32-31. Springfield over Clarksville 19-7. Antioch beat East Nashville 32-27. Marshall County over Shelbyville 30-21. Columbia Central beat Battle Creek 51-12. James Lawson 19-13 winners over Creekwood. And Giles County beat Henry County 27-14. Those are some of the first ones that we got there. Coach, we've chatted about some of those, but man, there's some fun games going on here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like today is kind of the night of the overtime game, the 2-point conversion, bringing the 2-point conversion back, winning the toss in overtime and being able to defer. That's a big deal, I think.
Well, and that goes right into some of those other big finals here. Some of the big OT possibilities here. Ravenwood beat Lipscomb Academy 22-21. Nashville Christian over Ensworth 42-41. Both of those going to overtime, both of those 2-point conversions to win it. Femi Babaloa with a big pass, and then Jared Curtis finding a way to get the 2-point conversion too. Coach, those were some circled games across the state, and they didn't disappoint.
No, they definitely did not. And then you got teams that, like we were talked about earlier, bouncing back a little bit. Big win for Riverdale tonight. 35-0 against Father Ryan. Gavin Hampton with 2 touchdown passes. Jacob Vaughn, 2 touchdown runs, including an 80-yarder tonight in their 35-0 win. Great start or bounce back, if you will, for Riverdale after having a tough one with Knox Catholic last week.
Well, that's one of those things from the coaching side of things. When you think about opening the season and just not having your best, regrouping and getting the guys back on board for that second week and another tough game there at that point too. Coach, how do you get the guys kind of rallied back around, refocus, like, hey, we didn't put our best stuff out there, but hey, we got to come right back. We got to come back again. Week 2, we're playing another big game. How do you get guys focused?
I mean, I think it's, usually easier to refocus them after a loss than it is after a win. Sometimes after a win, you're feeling a little puffed up and you don't want to look at those mistakes that you made. Obviously, it's a lot more fun to correct a mistake after a win, but usually after those losses, heightens up. No one's panicking, but it kind of heightens the ability to look at what you did wrong and try to get it fixed so that you don't go 0-2. And it looks like a lot of those teams got those mistakes fixed this week. And we talked earlier about Lawson bouncing back and Overton bouncing back. A lot of teams here in the mid-state area bouncing back after tough first games.
Some of those other finals here, I want to go through them. Gallatin over Franklin 23-20. Brentwood Academy beat Brentwood 45-21. Franklin Christian Academy 42-31 winners over PCA. The first TSSAA win for those fellas out there. Nice to see that. MBA beat Hamilton 40-0. GCA, we had Mr. Warren DeGraff joining us. They go to 2-0, beat MTCS there. Overton over Hillsboro 14-10. Riverdale, like you said, over Father Ryan 35-0. Lebanon beat Siegel 35-3. Page, big 44-21 winners over Green Hill. Centennial 48 over Fairview 22. And that's one of those where back-to-back weeks we're seeing the Cougars and Coach Graham, they're scoring some points.
Yeah, he's an offensive guy, right? Running back, coached offense all over the college ranks, now at Centennial High School, scoring a bunch of points in back-to-back weeks. So good for the Cougars and Coach Graham. I know that, from all indications at Centennial High School, things are rolling in the right direction, and they're excited about the future.
Well, we got another final. We got a final that called in here, too. Ross, what did we hear on this one?
Caller called in and said that Wilson Central beat Clarksville Northwest 45-14.
All right.
Big win over there in Gladeville.
Couple more to rattle off here. Nolensville over Summit 23-21. Lincoln County beat Independence 23-21. CPA winners over Pearl Cone 42-34. Davidson Academy beat KIP 55-0. FRA over Coffee County as well 40-14 in that one. Coach, looking back and, circling back to that Lincoln County Independence game, there was a chance for Indy at the finish there, too.
Yeah, another close. I mean, the night of close games, right? And the night of opportunities. I think it came down to a field goal attempt there. And, what a coachable moment for Coach Blade and those guys, been in a lot of those games and understand that it doesn't come down to one play. There's a lot of plays over the course of that game that they created that outcome. But being in those tough, adverse games is going to help that Independence Eagle team continue to improve over the year.
Coach, how many times have you come across a 6'6" QB that you've had?
0 times.
Go. Coach Blade there at Independence and Matthew Horner. That's a guy that, you got a pretty good advantage when you can see over most of the line, huh?
Definitely. It's a lot better than the alternative of not being able to see. Yeah. It's hard to throw it to people when you can't see them.
One of those other finals out there, Oakland, 49-0 winners tonight, too. So those guys, we mentioned Pearl Cone coming right back. The Oakland's in week 4. They play BGA this coming week. When you have, if you're Coach Tony there at Pearl and the start, sometimes when you play these tough teams and you find ways to get your little victories, but you're coming up short in the win column, can you speak a little bit on just what that does motivationally and how you keep finding ways to hey, we didn't get the W, but we learned this about us here and we're going to build and we're going to correct this. How do you do that from the coaching perspective?
Well, I mean, it's a lot easier when you're wearing the championship ring on your hand, right? And be able to say, listen, guys, trust me. I've been there. I've done that. I know what it takes, right? We're doing this stuff for a reason. We're on the right track. No need to panic. We're playing some of the best that there is around so that when we have that opportunity in December, we're ready for it and we're going to answer the bell. So a lot easier when you've just lifted the gold ball less than a year ago.
That is definitely pretty good motivation there. Speaking of gold balls here and looking at our Ravenwood setup here, last year was one of those years for you, Coach, where, after I think it was the 10th anniversary of going 10-0 an unbeaten regular season for Ravenwood, and now we're 10 years removed from the last state championship for this Ravenwood team, and watching the Raptors find a way to come in, battle to 2 big opening game wins on the road in Mississippi. You beat a powerhouse program after being down 17-0. Obviously, this week, you're battling Lipscomb Academy. You go to overtime, and you win it by going for 2. I mean, this team, knowing the talent, knowing where they are and how they got this start going, tell us a little bit on your thoughts about how they keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, winning is good. They're 2-0. I think the thing that's going to make them better by the end of the season is how they've had to win. Nothing galvanizes a team like battling adversity. And then to do it and have success, proves to each other, right, whether it's the offense to the defense or the defense to the offense, vice versa. Hey, listen, we can make the play when it has to be made. When it's time to make the play, we're going to make it. Mm-hmm. And, those guys just begin to believe. And that's what it's all about, believing in that common goal, galvanizing the locker room, continuing to improve off the mistakes. But if you don't have no adversity, it's very, very difficult to, when you do, to overcome it. And that's why Tony Brunetti schedules the teams that he does. Engel Martin schedules the teams that he does. That's why these people play these games, is so that when it matters, right? When it's win or go home, because none of these games are win or go home. They're going to get up, they're going to play next week. But when you get to the end of the season, it's playoff time, and it's win or go home, you have to be able to answer the bell when the time comes, and you can't do it if you haven't already done it. So you got to put your team in these situations, and I think they're going to be better for the end of the year having been through these situations.
Pretty excited to see how everybody comes out of that. You know, one of those, speaking of this Ravenwood team, they're going to go to a Green Hill team coming off of an up and down start here. So they get a lot of confidence. Cannon Burrows leads them to a win in that week 1 against Beach. Obviously, Beach came back to win tonight, but then Green Hill runs into a Page team and comes up shy. They get to play Ravenwood now too. So that's another one of those matchups we're kind of excited about, a week 3 meeting there. Yeah,
100%. And it's the first home game for Ravenwood this year. But death, taxes, and Page football is what we're getting into now. And, if you would have asked me earlier in the day, I would have said this would be one heck of a battle, seeing what Green Hill had done last week. But Page once again just continues to keep their foot on the accelerator, whether it's not allowing teams to score or now this year putting points up on the board. So kudos to those guys down there in Rudderville.
Another fun one to think about in terms of just being here and seeing how CPA builds off a big W here. They actually get to do a couple out-of-state matchups before they face Baylor on September 19th. That's a big circled game here, first true region battle there, but they play Tupelo out of Mississippi, and then I think it's Archbishop Moeller is another one there, and that's out of Ohio.
So, Cincinnati. So, unfortunately, I may have had a little bit to do with the scheduling of that game. That was supposed to be a Ravenwood game, but we added 2 teams to the region in Coffee County and Shelbyville, so that game couldn't happen because we lost a non-conference date. But Coach Martin, being the guy that he is, was like, I need a game. And he'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. And so, Moeller's coming to Nashville.
I like it. Hey, this has been the High School Power Hour. It's been a lot of fun here. Obviously, so much week 2 action out there. Be sure to check everything out. We're going to share a bunch on social media. Some of our guests here, thanks to them, Daisy Oatsfall of Brentwood, Bobby Bentley of BGA, and Warren DeGraff of GCA. We're going to be back next week. We're going to have plenty more, too. Don't forget to check out Tate Matthews' abbreviated show in the morning as well. But it's been an absolute pleasure. Coach Hester, thanks so much.
Appreciate it, Charles.
Love it. The High School Power Hour signing off from week 2. You're on 104.5 The Zone. For Will Hester, thank you.